Hi guys, so this is my part 4 of my contouring series, and today I want to talk to you about face features and proportions. What is feature? Feature is a certain characteristic. That is something recognizable about your face. It's the shape of your nose, your chin, your lips, your eyes. And what is proportion? It's a relation of one thing to another. For example, where the nose is located comparing to the eyes or to the lips, or how big are the lips comparing to the rest of the face, and so on. So to look closer on the face proportions, let's divide face into 3 parts and compare them. First part will go from the hairline to the brows level. Second part will go from the brows to the bottom of the nose. And the third part from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin. And if those parts are more or less equal, it's most common face proportions. But some parts can be bigger or smaller. For example, if the top part is bigger than the other parts, we call it high forehead or big forehead. Here are some examples of the bigger top part. And here are the examples of the faces where the middle part is bigger. You know, the faces with long straight noses, Carlo Bruni, for example. And there are also the faces where the bottom part is a bit longer. Okay, let's see some examples when one of the parts is smaller. Here's when the top part is smaller than the other parts. We call it small forehead or low hairline. Middle part is smaller. Or bottom part is smaller. Do we consider this while contouring? I'm not sure. Most common doesn't mean more beautiful, but it will definitely help us to understand faces. Now let's look closer at one more thing. We can find fourth part. Let's call it hair area. So this is the area from your hairline to the top of your head. If your hair is slick and you look straight, so the common size of it is a half of the forehead, like this. So this is the most common. But it can be smaller. In this case, the person feels like there is lack of volume on top. She can feel her head is pretty flat, or she might feel like her forehead too big, which is not necessarily the case. Or the hair area can be bigger than the half of your forehead. So those are proportions. Now let's look closer to the features of the faces. What features do we have? Eyes, nose, lips, brows, and cheekbones. Let's look closer on those. First is the eyes. Eyes can be big or small, comparing to the rest of the face. They can be close set or wide set. If the distance between your eyes equals the size of your eye, this is normal set eyes. If the distance is smaller, then you have close set eyes. And if the distance is bigger, it is called wide set eyes. There also can be deep set eyes. That means they are set back into your head, so that brow bone is more forward than your eyelid, and you have like dark natural shadow here, above your crease. Or there can be prominent large eyes. They are huge, round, and they kind of come forward. There are also many eye shapes. It's a bit different. We're now looking only to the relation of the eyes as a feature to the rest of the face, just to understand the proportions. Hooded eyes, downturned, like Asian eyes, and all those types of eyes I'm gonna cover in one of my next ones about the eyes. Now, nose. Nose can be long or short proportionally, if we look straight on the face. It can be long forward or flat, if you look on the side profile of the person's face. It can be wide or narrow. You know, nose itself as a feature has a very complicated shape, because it can be wide only here, or only the tip is wide and the rest is very thin. It has many curves. Of course, I will make another video about nose shapes. Lips. So lips can be big or small, obviously. And a mouth. The most common size of the mouth is when the corners of your lips are at the same level as your pupils of the eyes. Mine is a bit smaller, it's a bit here. Mouth can be pretty long. Brows. Again, it's not about the shape of the brows, because we can change it. So if we talk only about the proportions of the face, brows can be low or they can be high. You know, some girls have very beautiful, straight, low eyebrows. That makes them look a little bit powerful and strong. Number 5, cheekbones. I already talked about the cheekbones in my previous one, but I want to be a little bit more specific today about the cheekbones because this is what we contour. So we already talked about that the cheekbones can be more prominent or less prominent. If they're not prominent, you just can't see the natural shadows. That's a different story. And if they are prominent and you can see the shadows, there can be some interesting things to observe. First of all, we can see if they are high or low. If the hollow of your cheek goes from the top of your ear or from the middle of your ear, it kind of divides your cheek into 2 parts, somewhere in the middle of that area, like this. So this can be considered as a high cheekbone. But it can be lower. It can go from here, it can even go from the bottom of your ear, not in the middle of the cheek, but it goes lower, closer to the jawline. Also, it can be more vertical or more horizontal. By this I mean sometimes the shadow can go straight like this. So the bone, the cheekbone itself, is very vertical. It goes like this. In this case, a girl's face might look more masculine. It gives a little bit more tough look. Or the cheekbones can be more horizontal. That means they are pretty rounded and the shadow goes like this. It looks more feminine, the cheeks look rounded and very cute. It looks very youthful and very soft. Sometimes I see very interesting shape, some shadows in the middle. It can be triangle shadows by the mouth that goes down like this, or they can be just 2 vertical lines like this. So the variety of this is amazing. There are so many faces that cheekbones are just not seen. And it doesn't mean that we all have to draw them just to show that we have them. There is no such a thing as if you have cheekbones is good, if you don't have, it's not good. Like somebody invented that thing. It has nothing to do with the beauty and with rightness. If you go and look in the mirror right now, this is how it has to be. This is right. All those things that you have are amazing, beautiful, and they're built a certain way just to make you interesting, so you could play with your features. It is all about how you make it work for yourself. When I'm preparing every video for you, I'm learning so much myself. I'm really changing my opinion on so many things. I've looked at so many faces recently, like 1,000. I was sitting there and I was looking on the screen of my computer with a scale and I was measuring all those face features, all those parts, and I was trying to understand. All you have can work for you. Okay, so I hope that video helped you to understand face proportions and face features. And very soon I'm gonna make part 5. Stay tuned. Goodbye.